Hello students, welcome. We will start unit 3, that is process and thread management. The early system allowed only one program to be executed at a time. This program has complete control of the system and has access to all resources of the system. Nowadays, the computer systems allow multiple programs to be executed concurrently. This requires the partition of memory, CPU time, and the concept of currently running program. Now, what is process? The process is the program in execution, that is, currently running program. A system contains the collection of different processes. The operating system switches between the processes and utilizes maximum of CPU time. This chapter also introduces the concept of threads. Many concepts associated with multi-threaded computer system, multi-core system and threading models. Now we will see the process concept. So a program is in execution is called a process. A process can be program code, that is a text region. The program is not a process. Program is a passive entity and process is an active entity. A program becomes a process when it is loaded in the memory and the program counter specifies the next instruction to be executed and a set of associated resources. The process includes the program activity represented by the value of the program counter and the contents of the process register. The process tag containing temporary data and data section containing global variables. A heap, which is a memory that is dynamically allocated during process runtime. There are two types of processes: IO bound process and CPU bound process. The IO bound process that spends more of its time doing IO operations, and CPU bound processes means that generates an IO request less frequently and uses much of its time doing computations. Now we will see process model. As the process executes, it changes its state. The state of a process is defined in part by the current activity of that process. Each process may be of the following states. You can see the different states in the diagram. So which are the different states? New, ready, running, waiting, terminated. New state, the process is being created. In running state, instructions are being executed. While in waiting state, the process is waiting for some events to occur as IO completion or reception of some signals. Ready state, the process is waiting to be assigned to a processor. Terminated, the process has finished its execution. Here, only one process is in running state at any instant of time on any processor. Many processes may be in ready or in waiting state, but only one process is in running state. Next topic is the process control block, that is PCB. Each process is represented in operating system by PCB, that is process control block, or which is also called as task control block. You can see the diagram. In this diagram you can see different fields. These fields are process ID, state, priority, register save area, pointer to process memory, program counter register, input output status information, pointer to other resources, list of open files, accounting information, other information, and pointer to other PCBs. Now Operating system maintains the information about each process in a record or a data structure, which is nothing but your process control block. PCB acts as a iCard of the process. The process control block registers all the information regarding the process, and each user of the process has PCB. These all processes reserve space in the memory for the operating system. At the time of process creation, PCB are created and removed when processes are destroyed. We'll see one by one these different fields. First one is the process ID. At the time of process creation, operating system allocate a number to the process called process ID. Process can be identified by its number, so it is called as process ID. Next is process state. This entry maintains different process states such as process is in active or blocked or ready or in some another state. This information is kept in codified fashion in PCB. That means it assigns some number to each state and it stores that number. Then process priority. Some processes are immediately complete their execution when they enter in the CPU. Such processes are known as higher priority process, while some processes are wait for execution known as lower priority processes. Some priorities are assigned by the operating system. Then next field is register save area. When CPU executes any process, then that process can use all general purpose registers of the CPU. But in multiprogramming environment, CPU executes other job also. When it switch from one job to other, then it is called as a context switch. There are needed to all information stores in the different CPU registers at the context switch. It store name of the register, that is address of register, and its content in the area. It is like program status word of the microprocessor. Next field is pointer to the process memory. This is used to store direct or indirect address or location of the process image resides in the memory. It also stores memory management information. It stores which area of the main memory is used to store program and which is used to store data. Next field is the program counter register. This is used to store address of instruction which is to come for the execution in the CPU. Next field is input output information. Here it stores how many input output devices are required for the process. Out of them, how many devices are allocated and how much devices gets request from the process. Next field is pointer to other resources. Every resource has data structure to maintain process. This gives pointer to other data structure maintained for that structure only. Next is the list of open files. It stores name and address of all open files as well as closed files. Sometimes it might happen that processes cannot well terminate after its completely execution. So, at the time of termination, operating system close all open files. But it is necessary that every process should be closed after its execution is finished. So this is self-explanatory for the operating system to close all open files not closed by the process explicitly on termination. Next field is accounting information. This information stores usage of resources such as CPU time, connect time, disk I/O used by processes. It stores at what time which resources is allocated to the process and at what time it is deallocated from the process. Other information. Next field. This information contains path name, current directory, address of different scheduling queues. This information depends on type of operating system. It also includes some process synchronization information. Next and last field is pointer to other PCB. Normally, all PCBs are maintained into the memory using data structure linked list. This essentially gives the address of the next PCB within a specific category. This category maintains the state of processes also. Now, next is operations on processes. So, first is the process creation. In this, a parent process. A process creates several new processes using create process system calls during execution. Such a process are called as parent process. Child process. The processes created by the parent processes are called as child processes. These processes in turn can create further new processes and become parent of the created processes. This forms a tree of processes. Then process identifier. The processes are identified by a unique number given at the time of creation of the process, which is called as process identifier or PID, which we have seen in the PCB. On Unix or Linux, listing of such a processes created can be obtained by PS command. When a process creates a sub-process, the sub-process obtains its resources directly from the operating system or from subset of resources of the parent process. The parent may have to partition its resources among its children, or it may have to share the resources among its children. This prevents any process from creating too many sub-processes. Then the process termination. A process can be terminated by using exit system call. Its parent process may wait for the termination of a child process using wait system call. The wait system call returns the PID of the terminated child. If the parent terminates, all its children have assigned a new parent process, a init, that is the root process, so that the children still have a parent to collect their status and execution statistics. When a process creates a new process, two possibilities exist in terms of execution. The parent continues to execute concurrently with its children. The parent waits until some or all its children have terminated. When a process creates a new process, two possibilities exist in terms of address space of the child process. The child process is duplicate of the parent process. The child process has a new program loaded into it. For example, consider this new program. This program, for example, following these system calls are used in this program. Fork system call, you can see here. Fork system call is used to create new process. Wait PID system call is used here. which waits for the specific child process, and EXECLP system call is used to replace the current process image with the new process image. Now we will see working of a process. A new process is created by fork system call, which consists of copy of address space of the parent process. Both the processes, parent and the child, continue their execution at the instruction after the fork, but the return code for the fork is 0 for the child process, whereas to the parent the non-zero process identifier is returned. This indicates that if the child process is created, then the PID is equal to 0 for the child process, and for parent it is an integer value greater than 0. The child start its execution by this time, as the child has already started its execution on separate line, the parent can create new child process or can wait for the child process to terminate. Next we will see process scheduling. Process scheduling is an essential part of a multi-programming operating system. Such operating system allow more than one process to be loaded into the executable memory at a time, and loaded process share the CPU using the time multiplexing. The main aim of multiprogramming is that some process must be in running state all the time so as to maximize the CPU utilization. The aim of time sharing is to switch the CPU among processes so that users can get a feel that CPU is working for each process at all the time. To achieve these two aims, the process scheduler is used, which selects an available process from the ready processes. These are different types of scheduling queues: job queue, ready queue, and device queue. We'll see one by one. So in job queue, when process enters in the system, it is put into the job queue. After that, in ready queue, the processes which resides in the main memory and which is ready but waiting for the CPU to execute, which are kept in a ready queue. And last one is the device queue. It contains the list of processes waiting for the particular IO device is called as the device queue. Here you can see this diagram of ready queue and IO device queue. Now we will move towards types of schedulers. Different types of schedulers: long-term scheduler, short-term scheduler, device scheduler, medium-term scheduler, and disk scheduler. In long-term scheduler, we'll see first long-term scheduler. If the number of ready processes in the ready queue becomes very high, the overhead on the operating system for maintaining long list, context switching, and dispatching increases. Therefore, it is wise to let in only a limited number of CPU. The long-term scheduler manages this. It disallows processes beyond a certain limit for batch processes first, and in the end also the interactive ones. This is shown as in figure. This scheduler controls the admit function of the processes. The main objective of long-term scheduler is to select one job from the job pool. It is also called as job scheduler. It converts job into processes. It controls the degree of multiprogramming, where degree of multiprogramming means total number of processes that simultaneously by the operating system. As job scheduler loads more and more jobs into main memory, the degree of multiprogramming increases. Similarly, when it controls loading activity, the degree of multiprogramming decreases. It provides good process mix of IO bound as well as CPU bound processes to short-term scheduler, hence it can increase throughput of the operating system. CPU bound process means such a process which do not require input-output operation. It contains only computing instructions and not IO interface instructions. IO bound processes means which are doing more IO operation than CPU bound instruction. Once job is loaded into main memory, then work of job scheduler is passive and it becomes again active when it is terminated. So this is all about long term scheduler. We'll see next, that is middle term scheduler. At any time the main memory of computer is limited and can hold only certain number of processes. If the availability of the main memory becomes a great problem and a process gets blocked, it may be worthwhile to swap it out on the disk and put it in yet another queue for a process state called swapped out and blocked, which is a different from the queue, only from a queue of only blocked processes, hence requiring a separate PCB chain. Some situations are for the medium term scheduler are required are as sometimes it is required to remove some number of jobs, that is pages, from memory temporarily and reduce degree of multiprogramming. Sometimes while executing a program, it is found that memory requirements of the program are changed. Therefore, the pages of the job is to be removed from the memory temporarily. This is called as swap out process. Sometimes it needs to load some required pages into the memory. If there is required pages, if there is no space, then it is remove some passive pages from the memory and loads required pages into the memory. This is called as swap in process. This algorithm is also called as page replacement algorithm. We'll move towards next, that is short term scheduler. The short-term scheduler decides which of the ready processes is to be scheduled or dispatched next. Its main objective is to select one process from the ready queue and allocates CPU to the selected process. It is also called as CPU scheduler. In case of IO bound jobs, ready queue is almost empty, so short-term scheduler has very less work to do. Next is the IO scheduler. The IO scheduler decides which request granted first, so efficiency of the operating system is increased. So its main objective is to increase speed of IO device. It is the part of the device management. Next concept is the context switch. When process is switching from old process to new process, it is called as context switching. There are many reasons to switch over CPU from old process to new process. Some reasons for the context switching. These reasons are when old process requires to do IO operation, when time slot of old process is finished, or higher priority process gets entered into the queue, or user wants to execute his job first, or operating system don't want to continue because of some deadlock or some other reason. When operating system doing context switching, then it performs some actions like it stores current content of the process into the appropriate location of the PCB of old process. It stores the current content of the instruction pointer or program counter in the appropriate location of the PCB of old process. It updates current IO device information in the PCB of old process. Again, it updates current resource information in the PCB of old process. Then update account information. Again, it find out PCB of the new process using its PID. Reload actual general purpose registers of the CPU by register content of the PCB. Update necessary information with resources. Store address mentioned in the program counter of PCB of new process to program counter register of CPU, and starts execution of new process. Time requires to move actual CPU status to PCB of old process and reloading new status from the PCB of new process. It is called as a context switching time. Thank you.